Did you know the Needler was actually really good against Watchers? Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Homing projectile against a slowly moving airborne target that can't dodge? Yeah, might as well pick it up more often. Hello and welcome to another legendary solo no death Spartan Ops episode. This is episode 2, chapter 1, cleanup on the gate. That was an extremely quick look at my loadout there. Don't worry, it's pretty standard. DMR, plasma pistol, got the ammo buff, and I've also got the AA efficiency coupled with the regen. So that allows me to keep my shields up quickly, very quickly, much quicker than the usual standard recharge would allow me to. There are a lot of enemies on this mission. Don't get too aggressive, you do have to kill all of them. And actually they're pretty aggressive about moving up to you, so just let them do the work in moving. Stay safe, stay back, take them out before they can get too close to you. Also remember to take cover. So if I can explain quickly the basic structure of this mission. First you have this section as you're making your way towards a structure. And there are lots and lots of guys, including many, way too many, with fuel rod guns. Once you get to the top of the structure and cleared out absolutely everything, you have to deactivate 2 buttons to either side on 2 pillars. And just as you get to those, some more Prometheans will spawn in. After you've dealt with those, some more Prometheans will spawn on the very top of the tower, including some watchers, and they'll try and spawn some turrets. After you've done that, then you'll get some reinforcements in the form of some rocket launchers and railguns. As you go for the rocket launchers and railguns, you'll get assaulted by a bunch of knights spawning in. So I like to retreat back up to the structure and take them out from there. And they also spawn a lot of watchers, and sometimes if you let them, the watchers also spawn a bunch of crawlers. Speaking of fjord guns, look how many I'm having to deal with here. Finally, after you've dealt with all of those knights, one more knight and a bunch of crawlers, and maybe 1 or 2 more watchers will spawn on the structure itself. So if you're still on the structure at that point, you'll want to get the hell out, otherwise you will get mauled to death. Right at the end, you'll obviously get a pelican to come in and pick you up, and you'll be like, where the hell were you for the last 15 minutes? You know, yeah, there's some AA guns now, but they've been dead for ages. So I've been talking quite a lot, explaining the various many stages of this level, and I still haven't even got out of this first area yet because there are just that many enemies. Obviously there's multiple people with you. 2, 3, 4 people. Take one side each. Pincer them in this section in the center. Go much more quickly. Getting pretty low. Oh my god, that's another one with a Fury gun. Isn't anything particularly special you can do, everything has to die, so you just have to work your way through it. This is very typical of the design of the early Spartan Ops missions, first half of the season. Puts you on some maps, gives you some sort of vague objectives, but really it just boils down to killing everything. And what's kind of frustrating is that this area is actually really small. You don't spend much time here during the campaign level. It's actually featured in one of the first campaign levels, second mission Requiem. This is the building just outside the cartographer building. Some turrets. That's what I've been picking up some fjord guns and using on them. So you don't spend much time here in the campaign, and you know, I've actually lasered this mission in about 18 minutes, and it takes me over 15 minutes to go through this one little area in Spartan Ops, because they just throw so many enemies at you. I believe there are more than 100 on this level. Pretty ridiculous to send one Spartan against her. I mean, it doesn't even seem fair for the Covenant, does it? We're finally running out of my DMR. Picking up a carbine and a needler. As I said, needler is actually really effective against the Watchers here. There's my first kill. Figured that out during the course of this mission. Needlers versus Watchers wasn't something you were actually ever able to sort of figure out was a good idea during the campaign. So it was only after Spartan Ops came out, some of those missions allowed you sort of more diverse access to weaponry, to actually figure out some of these combinations. Or at least I did. I mean, maybe you guys knew from the outset. Oh my god. Another one with a Forerunner gun. I think the Covenant just brought like an entire ship just filled with Forerunner guns with them this time. And they were just like, you know what? Forerunner guns for everybody. Because the Forerunner gun is, well, at least in the old Covenant, it was kind of a status weapon. Only sort of higher ranking ones were allowed to have it. Here we go, finally getting to the top of this structure. Don't want grenades on my head too much, thanks very much. Just looking around if there are any more Watchers, cannot see any. Oh, this reminded me too much of the campaign mission. An elite with the sword at the top of that ramp. Too similar, man. Feels a bit recycled. Oh, looks like he took out his teammate. Oh, what an idiot. And what are those red dots? Oh, it's the Watchers. So this is where it's handy to have lots of needler ammo on hand. Oh, what? No explosion? That was lame. So as I said at the start, Watchers can't dodge, and needler rounds track. It's absolutely perfect against them, really. Rather than having to aim every individual shot with a DMR or carbine or something. I actually ran out of needler on this particular building, so I decided I'm going to pick up a beam rifle, have a little go at that. Fortunately, body shots are 2 shots. Watchers do actually have a head, but it's really tricky to hit. So it's not that reliable. You burn through ammo really quickly on this beam rifle. 10% per shot. So you got a couple of headshots there, but it's not something you can rely on. There's actually another crate on the opposite side to where I was just down by one of the pylons you have to deactivate in just a moment. That actually had some more needler ammo in it. Whoa, that's another Forerunner gun. So I probably should have gone to that side rather than dealing with this beam rifle. That was unfortunately a bad idea of mine. No matter, got through it, no deaths.
Get those AA guns offline. Marking the conduit pylons now. There you go, Crimson.
Oh, here's some more needler ammo. Blocked by a whole bunch of enemies. Now these pylons, like the first time it showed up, I was like, oh great, awesome. I'm just gonna jump down there, it's right next to me, then back out. But no, that's a trap. Once you get close to them, that's when the enemies spawn. So actually you just want to approach them really cautiously, take all the enemies out first, then go for the button. Rushing it is just not a good idea. It doesn't gain you anything. Because as I said, progress is essentially based on enemy death. You can have the button pressed as early as you want and it won't matter for anything as long as the enemies are still alive. Oh, loving that needler, man. It's amazing how effective the Covenant weapons are against Prometheans, or particularly the Needler and the Plasma Pistol. And yet you are so short on those specific two weapons when you're trying to battle the greatest concentrations of Prometheans in the campaign. Would have loved the Plasma Pistol on Midnight. That would have made things much easier. Looking for my beam rifle. Seem to have lost it. Stupid crawler. Still takes 2 melees, even for the lower ones on Legendary. On Heroic and lower it's just 1 melee. Overpowered, man. So I'm just going to spam this one to death. There we go. Plenty of ammo though. Carbine isn't something you have to worry about on this level. Fortunately, because as we know, there are some levels that leave you hurting for ammo somewhat.
That's both pylons, commit. Whoa! A slip space signature just blipped near Crimson.
Point the way, Miller. Let's have a look.
There's the slip space signature at the back there. Bunch of watches coming in. They're going to try and build some more turrets. So you can use that as a sort of lure to take out these watches. They'll keep trying to build it in the exact same place. It's all scripted which specific places they'll try and build things from.
Some activity nearby. Ready for anything, Crimson?
Dalton, Crimson could use some resupply.
You got it, Commander.
I wish these turrets had a weak point or something, so I didn't just have to spam it. So here's the weapons I was talking about. Rocket launcher, railgun, and actually got a saw there as well. Rocket launcher's priority alpha. 1-hit kill on Promethean knights, of which they're going to be dropping on my face right now. There's 2.
Knights!
Oh, not good. Getting stuck on the rocks here. Running, running, running. So the ammo perk applies to all weapons, so I can actually carry 10 total rockets. That's another reason I brought the ammo perk with me. So I can just get in, grab both the rocket launcher spawns, take out pretty much all the ammo with me. And then try and take out the knights. Oh, I so had him. So had him. This seems vaguely reminiscent of episode 5 chapter 1 Spartan Miller, and the tactics exactly the same. Wait for them to be paused, maybe in an animation. Oh, that would have been a perfect opportunity. Deliver a rocket to the face, or the leg, that also works as well. Take them out, use your rifle for the little guys, all the watchers and the crawlers. So the knights spawn in. The knights spawn some watchers, of which they can spawn up to 3 in a row, which I found out the hard way. And then the watchers spawn in crawlers. So take out the knights really quickly, you don't have to deal with watchers. Take out the watchers really quickly, you don't have to deal with crawlers. But unfortunately, I'm only one man. Look at that. Ridiculous. Pretty sure they're spawning them from like the same place. And then the crawlers will come up to you. The knights here are pretty sedate, they'll stay back. Watchers too, in fact. Not too much of a problem. Their sort of semi-scripted jumps up are really slow. Leave them exposed for quite a long time. Still, I brought 10 rockets with me for a reason. So just one more red dot. There we are. And then after that, more enemies spawn on this structure immediately behind me. I'd forgotten about that during this run, so I was like, oh my god, red dot, what? Oh, that was just pure reactions, that was. Not advisable. You're advised to know what you're doing in advance. Looks like it's trying to bring him back there. Do not want that to happen. Jeez, almost killed me with that situation. Have my hard work undone. Heeh. So now it's another attack scenario. Basically the same thing. Try and take out the Watchers. The Watchers will try and build a couple of turrets. There's one. I actually got some rockets. Should have used those on them. I'd completely forgotten what happened at the end here, so I was trying to be conservative, like, wait, are there more knights or not? But if you got them, just use them. Just make it easy for yourself. If you can find one of those railguns, that'll do a decent amount of damage on impact as well. Or you can just spam it.
Almost there. Hell yeah!
Miller, a bit of decorum, please.
Here we go. Red chevrons means I'm almost done. There you are. And my motion tracker is telling me there is also one more turret left. Bye bye.
That's the last of them, Commander.
That's it.
Dalton, a ride home for Crimson, please.
You got it, Commander.
Nothing else to do here. Game over.
It's the science team investigating where Crimson recovered that Forerunner artifact.
Distress.
Heavy Covenant forces bearing on their position. They've taken refuge, but they need extraction.
Miller, tell him help's on the way. Dalton, change of plans. Crimson's gonna rescue some eggheads.
Say eggheads one more time. I dare you. Anyway, what's my time? Let's have a look. 16:51. Why don't you let me know what your time is? Let's have a sort of fun comparison. Nothing too serious. On the left and your right, you'll have the previous and the next chapter, respectively, Core and Force Science. Enjoy episode 2, guys. I'm RC, and I will see you next time.